Holds the ball to the timekeepers to signify the start of what's going to be a very exciting last quarter. The bounce goes Penguin's way, but it's picked up by Coombe. He sends the ball back over the centre. It's knocked away from Scott Knights. This is going to give O'Brien. No, he doesn't. Billing gets the ball. A quick hand pass to Korpashok, who's been effective since he's come back on the ground, but that kick's not particularly. Right, Tim Allen gets in and fists the ball forward, centre half forward, but got John Korpashok caught high. And plays on, calls the umpire, arguably for me the best player on the ground. He sends the ball on a mark taken by Scotty Knights. Well, Penguins stopped as if shot last week. I don't think they'll do the same this week as Knights gets out. Maguire! Korpashok J in the back line and Maguire T in the forward line have been the reasons why Smithton have been able to stay in this game, in my humble opinion. Tony Maguire's kicked 5. He's kicked 6, and the Saints hit the front.
Well, Smithton have hit the front for the first time since quarter time. Well, since very early in the game, and umpire Ahern puts the ball to turf once again. 5 points the difference now. Smithton lead as Ward gets the tap down towards Korpashok. The mark taken by French, and French did his play down now on half-back line for Penguin. French now the long drop punt kick, looking forward for Reynolds, but it's all Smithton, but they've given away the free kick. There was 4 of them there, and the umpires picked out the free, and Reynolds has it at centre half forward. He walks back a long way, Reynolds, when he goes to kick the ball. He's walked right back towards the centre of the ground. He's played well, the big fellow. He's kicked 3 goals. Making a return to Union football this year. The ex-East Devonport player, Reynolds, comes in. There's the drop punt on its way, and he's going to land it at East Devonport again, but he's offline on this occasion, and through for only 1 behind. So now there's 4 points the difference. Three minutes gone in the final term, and Smithton lead. They're 12-9-81, and Penguin, who have been on target early in the game, 12-5-77. And will the accuracy pay off here for Penguin? The kick comes out wide. Ivanov see, and he's taken the mark, and he's quickly on with play. Brilliantly intercepted by O'Brien, though, as he smothers the ball. It's getting very close to the boundary line. He keeps it in play. He pushes the ball along in front of him, plays the ball, and gets the free kick. So O'Brien on half forward for Penguin. O'Brien goes long. Ball right up towards full forward. Barrett was up high, couldn't take the mark, and the free kick's been picked out. It's going to go Smithton's way, and the free kick in the last line of defence goes to Hayden Ralston. Ralston has Ward up on the half-back line, the kick in that direction. Ivanov drifting across the pack, couldn't take the mark. The ball on the ground, players diving in on top of it. Finally, Smithton break clear as they come forward through Greg Ralston. This time he's kicked towards the centre of the ground, and Medwin's marked. And Medwin's come into the game late in the third term. But he's taken another mark. He's kicked 2 goals. He's quickly on with play. Goes out wide looking for Knight. Knight from behind couldn't take it. The ball on the half-back line now. It's Hennessy. Can he break clear? Knight punches the ball on brilliantly, but he's given away the free kick. And umpire O'Hearn picks it out, then it'll go Penguin's way, and Hennessy will take the free on half-back line for the Blues. Hennessy's long kick towards centre half forward, but there's no one at home. Korpashok dropped to centre. Brown was there, coming through stronger now was Lockett. His kick out wide, looking for Gray, and Gray's marked. Gray favouring one leg as he kicks towards the half-forward position. Knight's there. Fielding will come from behind. Late on the scene was Bonnie. Finally, players try to break through. It was Coombe. Knight's there, battling for the ball, and the umpire races in, and he'll ball it up on half-forward with Smithton into attack. They lead by 4 points, and we've played 5 minutes in the final term in a cutthroat grand final, and umpire Ahern will put the ball to the ground. Smithton have fought back from 30 points behind as the bounce down takes place. Allen's there, gets the tap towards Barrett. He tries to break away, but he can't. Players diving in on top of it again. Penguin defending grimly, and Smithton attacking in this final term, and they lead by 4 points. 25 minutes of football remaining in the 1985 football season. Allen gets the tap down. Great game he's played today for the Blues. Well tackled, and the umpire will call it up and ball it up again for the third time in a minute. Who's going to crack first? Penguin had a big lead. Smithton have fought back. Penguin have answered every challenge so far. Can they do it again? Knight in the ruck against Allen. Bounce favours Allen. He gets the tap down towards Barrett, but breaking through strongly was Coombe, but he couldn't take the ball all the way. And Penguin out of defence through Cooper as the kick goes out wide. That speedsters are called for. Hennessy and McMullen. McMullen's found a yard in the second half. The ball comes back towards Lockett. Smithton now strong in defence through Corpershock brothers as they come off the half-back line. The kick up forward, looking for Maguire. He's going to arrive late on the scene. He couldn't take the mark. Penguin defending grimly through Howard. He's got nowhere to go. He comes back towards centre half-back. A good tackle. Goes unnoticed by the umpire, and through strongly comes Barrett. He breaks through half-back and drives towards full forward, looking for Reynolds. He goes to the ball one-handed, couldn't take it. Taps the ball towards the boundary line, and it's out of play, and the throw-in will take place 30 metres around from Penguin's attacking zone. They trail by 4 points, 81-77. Smithton 12-9, Penguin 12 goals 5. 7 minutes gone in the last term, and the throw-in takes place. Carpenter up high, couldn't take it. Smithton breaking away through defence. They drive towards centre half-back. Billing. Ward taps it on brilliantly, but it comes to O'Brien. He can't pick it up. Billings there. Wards comes through. French picks it up. Gets the hand pass to no one in particular. Diving on his Lockett. He gets the hand pass to Billing. His short kick comes forward looking for Gray, and he's marked on centre wing. And the Smithton wingman will now steady play down for the Saints. Drop punt kick, floats it back towards centre half forward, looking for Knight from behind. The great mark nearly taken there by Coombe. Knight can't pick it up. Keep comes through strongly, plays the ball long in front of him, gets the kick down towards centre half forward. A bad bounce. Gale tries to knock it on. He should have grabbed it, picking it up as Ralston now. He goes out wide looking for Medwin. Medwin fumbles on centre wing, but he finally gathers the ball. Goes forward looking for Maguire. Maguire and Howard. Maguire! Too strong and too tall, and he's marked 15 metres out from goal. And Big Burners kick 6. And he'll be lining up for goal number 7. Can he put it through and put Smithton 10 points in front? It'll be their biggest lead for the game if he can. In comes Maguire. He's threaded it through the middle. Goal number 7 for Berta Maguire. And Smithton now lead by 10 points and have played 8 minutes in the final term.
Well, the biggest lead, as Shane just said, the Smithton's had as they go to a 10-point lead. Penguin putting Dale Ansell onto the ground, the veteran defender, and he's running to the ball now and picks it up and gets his first kick for the match. Almost finds his captain coach in Tim Allen. Howard's got the ball in the centre. But it comes back to Wilcox. Wilcox, who starred in the second quarter, breaks clear, has a bounce, runs towards goal, kicks towards goal, and Simpson goes back and takes a timely mark. He gets the ball out quickly, where the Smithton little players who have been so quiet for so long have eventually started to make possession. And Keith Billing takes the mark. We'll get a full 15-metre penalty there. And he says now lead towards the boundary line, and they do so. Ivanoff comes towards the boundary line. It comes off. Guy Gray gets it. His hand pass goes to Coombe. Billy Fielding's in there too. Fielding wins out on this occasion, then gets control. It bursts through the pack, does Fielding, but the mark's taken back there once more by Ralston. Ralston sends the ball. Oh, Ward's pushed in the back. In trying to get height to get over Ward. Garth Barrett. Oh, and Barrett gives him a roundhouse. That was a right cross that would have done justice to Jeff Fennick. Ward comes in. Oh, it's on down here. They're coming from everywhere. The book will have to come out shortly. And Garth Barrett, he's unfortunately has spoilt the game a little bit for Garth, because now they're coming from everywhere. Back to the full forward. Maguire picks up the ball, kicks towards full forward, but the mark's taken there by O'Brien. He sends the ball out to the far side. Peter French has got the ball. The dust up below us is finished. Peter French gets the football, turns round, cops one high. Players allowed to go on there as the umpires have got to get back into position from that situation. Lockett drives the ball forward. Medwin runs at the football and hits his player too high. Play on's the call as Keep clears the ball, but over the line on the full. The boundary umpire designating where the free kick is to be taken, and Nichols to take the free kick. Don't know whether there were any reports out of that, Shane Weather. Didn't see the umpires pull it out. Corpashot gets the ball, gets it back over there towards Nichols, who runs round in circles, then sends the ball towards the centre of the ground. Ivanov taps the ball away. It's fed off by Nichols, but Billy Fielding standing firm in defence. 10 minutes of this exciting final gone. The Smithton Saints still 10 points in front as comes to this side of the ground. Knocked away from Maguire. Short Corpashot coming through. Can't pick it up. It's picked up there by Wilcox. A good hand pass out towards Gale. He bounces it once. He comes with a left foot. A superb kick to Reynolds, and Reynolds doesn't let him down. And 15 metres to boot. Umpire Ahern pulls Reynolds back and gives him a certain goal as he says to Simpson, you were far too late with your tackle. And Reynolds has been dragged back 15 metres.
I thought he was a bit hard on him then. There was no 15 metres there, Bob. It's a grand final.
It's a goal.
Yes, that's a beauty.
4 goals to Chris Reynolds, 4 points in the ball game.
Well, here we are, 4 points in the grand final of 1985, and up goes Carpenter. He gets a tap down, it comes out to Corpashot. He can't pick the ball up. Out of the pack comes Wilcox, and he gives it about to Bruce Howard. Bruce Howard marks it centre half forward. He'll drive the Blues into attack now. Bruce Howard, look, oh, Allen's missed what he could have taken. Over it comes to the danger man, Wilcox. He can't pick up the ball. He gets a backhander to go on with. Out it comes towards McMullen. McMullen drives the Saints into forward, but it's out of bounds on the full, and the free kick will be taken on the far side of the ground, on the roadside. The big crowd here at West Park today, right on their feet, as we see the Blues lead by 3 points. I beg your pardon, Smithton leads by 3 points. And there's a free kick over there. I can't see what's going on. There's a player down on the bike track over there. He's going to take the free kick. I missed out what's happening. It's going to go to the Penguin skipper and Billy Fielding. Bill Fielding with the ball now as the runners come out onto the ground. He'll put the ball well down the ground. Look at him going. He's torpedoed, punted the ball 55 metres down. Up goes Corpashot. He fists the ball out towards Ivanov. He's carrying an ankle injury. He slims round on the left-hand side, but it's a shocking kick. Intercepted by the tough man, Barrett. Barrett can't pick up the ball. Smithton players converge on the Penguin danger man, and umpire Yoon and umpire Ahern, who have done a magic job here this afternoon, have got more than a game of football on their hands as Penguin runs Tony French onto the ground. Down it goes. Carpenter in the ruck now for the Blues. Gets the tap down. Out it comes towards French. He can't pick up the ball. Picked up there by, I think it was Lavelle. He gives it back towards Bill Fielding. But the umpire says, give it to me, fellas, and I'll take it back. Robbie Lavelle, been a magic player today, puts the ball up there looking for Reynolds. Reynolds got the sit up, he goes, he gets his hands on it, can't pick it up. The danger play, Wilcox picks it up, has a snap for goal. He didn't see Howard running into the open goal, and it's 1 point only for the Blues. Smithton 87, Penguin 84 at the 14-minute mark of the 1985 grand final. We've got a football game on our hands here as Simpson puts the ball back looking for Scott Knight, and Scott Knight takes the mark on the half-back flank. Scott Knight, former North Launceston player, puts the ball into the centre ground looking for the big fellow Ward. Ward snaps it down onto the left foot, puts it out towards Medwin, and Medwin takes the mark on the far side of the ground. French out on the mark. Medwin with the ball now. He'll punt it up there now on the ground here. Really moved by this. If they're not moved, they've got more in their blood than more in their veins than blood as the danger man Barrett comes through the ground. He's been unloaded mercifully by Corpashot. Corpashot turns round to the umpire and says, what's that for, fellas? And it's a goal. It's a goal to the Blues. There's no doubt about that one. He's going to bring the ball back. Well, Barrett was unloaded unmercifully in the centre of the ground by Corpashot. He kicked the ball was halfway through its trajectory, and Barrett was unloaded. He's the fellow who's the Penguin players up and the Smithton players up, as we see Reynolds will take the free kick. I thought he kicked the goal, in fact he did, but the umpires, rightfully so, said it's got to come back, and Reynolds will take his kick. Can he put the Blues in front? Will this be goal number 5? Penguin recruited Reynolds to win a grand final, and I'll tell you what, they've got 15 minutes to go to see if it comes true. There's a bloke on the far side there on the stretch, as Bob Jago's pointed out to me. I don't know who that player is, but They've got the camera on him as Reynolds now comes in, lines up for goal, puts it through. Oh, the umpire comes over to one side and it's a goal, and the Blues are in front in the grand final. What do you reckon, Bob?
Don't.
Who is the player on the far side?
Lee Bonney, it is, on the far side of the ground, being taken from the ground on a stretcher. I think had a fall on the bike track. Back to the centre of the ground it is. Carpenter gets the tap down, sends Penguin alive as Penguin go forward on this occasion. Ball comes back. Johnny Korpashock retrieves the ball. Arguably the best player on the field as Korpashock's short distance kick goes in towards Barrett, who set them alight this quarter. Comes to Tim Allen. Tim Allen's kick down towards Reynolds, and Reynolds takes the mark. Reynolds has already kicked 5. And a chance perhaps to, well, it's a bit early to talk about sealers, but this would give them a very, very handy lead if he can put this through. Reynolds on a difficult angle, kicks towards goal. The players jump, the goal umpire agrees. Reynolds jumps. That's 9 points to Penguin. Back to the centre of the ground. Can Smithton get back? Why, we all thought Penguin might have stopped Ward. Takes it out of the centre. But once more, the lack of small players sees Ward having to try and do it on his own. Ball comes forward. Ward gets the tap down again. Coombe tries to burst his way clear. Billy Fielding's got it though. And Billy Fielding with a long kick. Reynolds drops back. Oh, Simpson did well to get in front of Reynolds there, but Robbie Lavelle picks up the ball, hooks towards goal, can't control it, minor score only, 15-7, gives 10 points to the Penguin side, 15-7, a total of 97 to 13-9, 87. Simpson brings the ball back onto this side, looking for Korpashock. Lavelle gets in there. O'Brien takes the mark. High on calls the umpire. It's Nichols with the ball, gets it back towards Howard, who's played well. Howard to Brown with a little kick. Brown goes into the forward line. The bounce favours Penguin players, but Simpson gets there. Oh, Keddy misses what he should have taken. Desperation from Reynolds, but Simpson's there. He's caught with the ball. Play on calls the umpire. Wilcox gets the ball. He's caught. Comes in again, gets pushed in the back, Wilcox, and Smithton players scragging, Simpson in particular scragging from behind on that occasion. Sees Wilcox taking the ball perhaps a little too far. Now 15 metres. No, he's not too far out to score. And Stephen Wilcox, a well-known goal sneak, has got the chance to seal the game, I would think, for Penguin if he can put this through. He kicks towards goal. The goal umpire's coming across. It indicates a minor score, 11 points the difference.
Korpashock off the ground and Thorpe back on for Smithton. They're in trouble now. We approach the 20-minute mark of the final term, and Penguin have raced away again. They're 15 goals, 8-98, and they lead by 11 points. And we've played the 20 minutes in the final term as the ball comes towards French. He pushes the ball along in front of him, and the umpire says it's gone out of play. Well, Penguin have fought back. Smithton hit the front at the start of this final quarter. But the Blues never say die, and they're back 11 points in front now. 10 minutes remaining in the grand final as the boundary umpire throws the ball back into play. It comes over the back. Here's Brown and Wilcox. They can raffle it. Brown's kicked it 30 yards the wrong way, but it goes towards Hennessy. Hennessy has a break now. He sees Fielding, but he swings onto the left foot, goes in short, looking for Wilcox. He breaks away. This will be the sealer. The drop punt. He's kicked it home, and the grand final's in the bag now for Penguin. They're 16 goals, 8, 104, and Smithton 13 goals, 9, 87. Back in the centre ground, Wilcox has kicked his third, and the premiership looks like going Penguins' way as Wilcox gets the ball in the centre of the ground again, and the experienced Rover drives it forward. Howard and Reynolds. Reynolds has taken a screamer at full forward. The big fellow's dragged it in. He's kicked 6 goals and he's taken a great mark. And the Penguin players rushed to Stephen Wilcox at centre half forward. He's played an inspired second half, and Reynolds has the chance to put the grand final beyond doubt. He's 15 metres out from goal. Great return to Union football by Reynolds. He's won all the awards. He's won the goal kicking, and he's won the grand final as he's booted it home for another goal. 17 goals on the board now for Penguins. 17 goals, 8, 110. And they lead Smithton 13 goals, 9, 87. And we've played 22 minutes in the final term. As the ball's back in the centre of the ground, they lead now by 23 points. And who's that man? Bustling Billy Fielding, but he can't break clear. And he should have been penalised for holding the ball in, but the umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt, and he'll bounce it down in the centre of the ground. Carpenter against Ward on this occasion. Carpenter reaching great heights as he gets the ball away from Ward. The ball hits the ground. French and Ivanoff battle it out. Penguin players desperately diving on top of the ball. It comes to O'Brien. O'Brien towards Barrett. Barrett and Lavelle there battling for the ball. Lavelle was pushed in the back. Umpire allowing play to go on. They've umpired it pretty well here today. And finally umpire Yude calls for the ball on half forward. He bounces it down, giving the players every chance. It comes clear towards French. He breaks away on the left foot, goes in short looking for Howard. He overruns the ball. Lockett's there. So too is Nichols. They battle for the ball and it's run out of play. And a throw-in will take place at the 23-minute mark on the far side of the ground. Penguin holding on by 23 points. They've met every challenge Smithton have thrown at them, and it's taken away by the brilliant Barrett. His kick was smothered. It comes back towards half forward. Here's Howard now the chance. He's content to see the ball roll across the boundary line, and another throw-in takes place. 23.5 minutes gone. The grand final's all over. It's Penguins as the umpire throws in, and it comes to Brown. A quick kick. It goes towards the player there in Lockett. He breaks away. The kick towards half forward. It's going to be Gale. He's up high. Coming from behind there brilliantly is Mitchell. He swings it onto the left foot. It's Howard all on his own on half forward. He'll take the mark. And he'll steady play down for the Blues. He goes in short. Looking for that man Wilcox, and he's marked. Stephen Wilcox, 45 metres out from goal. Goes the drop punt kick. It's goal number 4 for Wilcox. Goal number 18 for Penguin. 18 goals, 8, 116 to 13, 9, 87.
What a magic effort here by the Blues. Gone for all money against the hot favourites, but they've run the Smithton Saints off their leg. Pace and precision versus Lamarck and kick as we see it come out towards McMullen. He's been a quiet player since quarter time as the ball goes out across the half-forward line. Picked up by French. He's got the ball on the far side. He gives it back towards Hennessy. Hennessy kicks the ball down towards the half-forward flank. Up go the big fellas, humbled out there by Allen. He gives it towards Howard. Howard's long hand ball goes out towards brother Bruce Howard. Picked up there by Peter French. Crikey me, he's done some hard work here today, Peter French, as the ball goes onto the boundary line, and umpire Yude will say, give it to me, fellas, and I'll ball it up. In fact, it's umpire Hearn on the far side of the ground. Penguin into attack at the 25-minute mark. That's the Blues premiership for 1985. There's no doubt about that. They've been trounced by Smithton in their 3 games this year, but their little men have absolutely run the Smithton boys clean off their feet. Still, as many people say, the grand final's not over till the final siren rings as the ball's thrown in now. Up they go. Tim Allen gets the tap down. Out it comes the victorious captain and coach. Has done a man-sized job as he gives the ball out towards Ward. Ward goes up towards Scott Knights. Fielding and Scott Knights both appealing for the mark. Play on, says umpire Yude. The umpires have been great here today. As we see Barrett fall over the boundary line. Penguin's tough man handles the ball out of bounds. And my word, the hard work that Barrett's put in here this afternoon. He's almost out on his feet, but that great heart of his is thumping away as they come down towards the Blues. It looks like it's going out towards Howard, and Howard marks again. Howard with the ball at centre half forward now. Will put the ball in towards full forward. Reynolds has kicked 7 as he puts the ball up now. The big men are going to high fly, but up goes Reynolds. He's got it over the back and he's got it again. And this is all over bar the shouting. Well, they recruited Reynolds to win a grand final, and win a grand final he has. I think this will be goal number 8 for the big fellow. We'll count on it. Chris Reynolds at centre half forward. He's kicked 3 and 5, 7. He's kicked, this is goal number 9, is it, Bob? Goal number 9 for the big fellow. And Penguin marching towards the 1985 grand final.
Back into the centre it goes. Up high, Ivanoff. who's in my book played this last quarter with an injured ankle, but he gets the ball forward. But it's to no avail. Thorpe gets the ball. Coombe picks it up, smothered off his hand by Mitchell, who's played particularly well. Coombe takes it towards the boundary line, and that's indicative of the way Smithton have gone in this last quarter. The ball's just not running their way, but by the same token, their small players haven't been in there to make the running. We're well into time on. Ball comes forward. O'Brien drops the football and then gets the free kick for over the shoulder. And he will take Penguin forward. Interest is academic as he sends the ball forward. Underneath the ball, Korpashok. He can't take the mark. Lavelle does particularly well, gets a hand pass over to Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown loses, gets control of it, hooks it back brilliantly. Simpson's there, so too is Reynolds. Reynolds cleverly taps it forward to Howard. Howard picks it up 2 inches from the line, or 5 centimetres, kicks another one, and Penguin just in elation down underneath the coach's box.
Well, all I can say, Bob, is good luck to them, because they've done it the hard way. They've fought for it all the year. They've had 3 trouncings from the Saints, and I tell you what, they got their revenge today, because they're really rubbing it in now.
And Tiger, I think they've got their revenge because of that Penguin attribute in determination. Ball, Carpenter even springs high in the air to get it out. The ball taken forward there by Hennessy. He sends it out to Howard, where Howard takes yet another mark, and the possibility of another goal. Who's got it now? Brown receives the pass, and Penguin really doing it as they like. They've kicked splendidly, 28. Brown kicks towards goal. 29 make that score 129 to Smithton 13-9, 87. Smithton have kicked just the 1 goal in the quarter. Sorry, Smithton have kicked 2 goals in the quarter, but 8 so far to Penguin, as they've run right away with this game. 30 minutes of the quarter gone. 15-metre penalty being imposed down here. Johnny Korpashok, who I think's been Smithton's best player, will take the ball. He kicks it towards centre half forward, looking for Ward. Ward can't take the mark. Michael Gale's been dropped back in defence, and everything for Penguins coming up roses. Gale with the spiral torpedo back. Korpashok gets pushed in the back, but it's play on. Howard picks up the football. Lavelle's got it. He turns out of the pack, steadies on the right boot, and then kicks the ball back, where Howard takes another mark. "31 minutes gone." And there's the siren. Bruce Howard's going to have a kick after the siren. It's academic. He kicks towards goal. He's added another one, I think. The goal umpire raises both fingers, and that'll make the final score 21-9, which will be a total of 135, have defeated Smithton by 7 goals. A 42-point victory as Smithton finished with 13-9, 87. Well, it was Penguin were able to run all over the top of Smithton, and a very elated Penguin side, Tim Allen being hoisted high, but they should hoist the entire 18 high, or the entire 20, because here goes the champagne already. It got out there very quickly. Smithton dejection once more. They faced the dejection last year and the elation the year before, but it's Penguin's turn this time to defeat the Smithton Saints.
go into the big speeches. But I'd just like to, first of all, thank the players of the Penguin Football Club. I am a very, very proud man of each and every one of them, the way they gave everything for themselves today. To our club, to finish that's what it's all about football, and I'm just pleased that we can give them and bring them a little bit of enjoyment for the work they've put in over the years. Thanks very much.
NatWest Finance to present the cheque for $1,000 to a man that's got a grin from the back of the ear to the outer ear, Victor Anderson. Victor, again, congratulations to the Penguin Club for a first-class effort. Ladies and gentlemen, how excited we are. What was like to be hanging around waiting for years, but you jumped in the finish. I didn't think it would ever come to it. So we've got all the players, the coaches, and all the supporters, and also NatWest for the cheque for $1,000. So where we lose all right. Well done. I'm now going to every player will receive a medallion. The last two to now ask each of his players in turn to come on the back of the truck and receive a medallion from our Premier, Mr. Gray, and from Mr. Eric Chalmers.
That was the Smithton side. I just like to congratulate them the way they played the game. It must be very disheartening for them to go through the year Peter's done a tremendous job with his team, and they've been up there a very hard team to beat all year. As they've proven to us, beating us on 4 other occasions. But that's what football's about, and I'm not going to complain about it because I've enjoyed the win. But congratulations to Peter and his boys, and better luck next time. Thanks very much. So we now ask Captain and Coach Peter Ivanoff to come up on the tray and receive his medals and then introduce his players. Peter? Mr. Eric Chalmers to make the presentation of the medals to each and every player.
Of the player of the match is being made. Penguin can't wait. They're doing their lap of honour. And a tremendous win by Penguin against most of the odds. And Stephen Wilcox is just being dragged back now to the truck, has been named man of the match. And Stephen Wilcox comes up onto the vehicle now to receive his award from President Rexbat as the rest of the team complete their lap of honour.
Disappointed side and the congratulations side. I've had them read out for weeks. Both here, I'm going to read out the congratulations one. Congratulations, mate, to Tim and Colin and the players. Last year I joined our supporters who went to Burnie, confident the Blues could have another grab at the flag. But by 5:30 we were leaving in complete despondency. Emotion alone cannot rebuild a football club's pride. Hard work and concerted planning was what the Blues needed to do to be again a premiership contender. Administration did not panic, but looked to new blood and improvement in existing players. These initiatives have been repeated and rewarded out there in the final today. Congratulations and thanks again. Upside, what you say? Read the other one. Read the other one. Don't have a pair of gears on that.
Make sure the players get a beer in a ring. Right. Give me the whole old that. Alan, here's a job for you, mate. Congratulations to each and every one of you players here, and well done for the season, because it really makes it worthwhile when you get that premiership. But fellas, I heard that award out there. Steve Wilcox really played well. There's one player that kept you in the game all day, and that was young Robbie Levine.
Robbie, boy!
Okay.
Gale and SM Richardson Enterprises Football Roundup.
And of course it was grand final day yesterday at West Park with nearly 10,000 people watching a great game between Penguin and Smithton. Of course Penguin, the Blues being the underdogs, went into the game, as I say, the underdogs, but they came out right on top. And to tell us all the details about and what happened during the game, so welcome back for the last time this season to Noel Johnson. How are you, Noel?
Good afternoon, Ray.
Great game?
It was an excellent game, Ray, as you'd expect a grand final, and conditions were certainly made for a big crowd. The sun shone all day. In fact, I got quite sunburned sitting out in the sun watching the game. But in the lead up to yesterday's grand final, Smithton had beaten Penguin on the 3 occasions they'd met previously. In the second semi-final, they convincingly defeated them by 48 points. On each occasion, the Blues had used a different game plan, and they'd gone down the tube on each of those 3 occasions. After talking with some of the Penguin camp after the game last week, I thought they might try and muscle their way to victory, but this never eventuated. With conditions windy and the ground very hard, making it bounce unevenly at West Park, these conditions favoured the smaller Penguin side. As the sides lined up, Penguin had no real surprises. Gale was at centre-half forward and Reynolds was at full forward, and they'd alternated to the positions they'd lined up in the previous week. Smithton had Ward and Knight alternating in the forward pocket, and they chose to use Peter Coppershirk at centre-half forward. As in all grand finals, the game was very physical early. Penguin were playing a very tight game with a man-to-man press all over the ground, and as the Saints centred their attention on the Penguin star Chris Reynolds, Peter French and Michael Gale whipped in for 2 tremendous goals against the breeze. From the gestures of the players on the ground, you could see the tremendous lift in confidence these 2 early goals gave the Penguin players. Smithton were struggling. Their smaller players were fumbling opportunities, and flank players were not in the game. In fact, the Saints were just too predictable in both attack and defence. Later in the quarter, Knight and Maguire goaled, but the Saints trailed by 20 to 15 and were kicking against the breeze in the second quarter. Penguin continued to attack in the early part of the second quarter and slipped away to a 6-2 lead at the midpoint of the second quarter. At that point in the game, it changed with Maguire having a marked influence on the game. Scott Knight had been moved to centre-half forward and Ivanoff was starting to get some grabs at the centre bounce. The Saints fought back and narrowed the margin to 1 goal. But in an inspired display, Stephen Wilcox rode the ball in tremendous fashion from the centre square of the ground, strode down the ground and banged through 2 50-yard goals. And with Reynolds adding another, the Blues went to the break with a lead of 24 points. Smithton were in trouble. Their talls as a group were playing well, but their smalls and medium-small players were having no influence on the game and in fact were completely outclassed by Wilcox and Lavelle. I just couldn't see any other options that they could use at that stage. And in fact, I think Smithton overall on the day were just too predictable. Stars for Penguin at this stage were Lavelle and Wilcox. Robbie Lavelle, who'd been out for 4 weeks, was making the most of every opportunity that came his way. Hennessy and O'Brien were dominating the wins. Lee, Bonney, Fielding were brilliant players in defence, and Reynolds was the star in the forward line. For Smithton, Johnny Coppershirk, I've never been a great fan of John's because I believe he's too slow, but certainly on Saturday he was magnificent overhead. He marked everything that came his way. Maguire was battling hard at full forward and Ivanoff just kept walking up in the centre. I reckon he got knocked down more times than any other player on the ground, but you just couldn't help but admire his tremendous courage. So at half-time, the Blues led by 4 goals and I thought that they were odds on to win.
It was significant, Noel, that the players that you mentioned in that first half as being better Penguin players were their smaller brigade.
Yeah, that was the difference really, Ray, in the first half of the game. I thought if Penguin to have, before the game, I thought if Penguin to have an opportunity, then Wilcox must spend a tremendous amount of time on the ball. He is still the best field rover in the union competition. And with Robbie Lavelle, a welcome return to the Penguin side, playing well also, that just gave them 2 players that Smithton were unable to counter.
So Wilcox had the support yesterday?
He certainly did, and working in tandem, that pair together with Trevor Howard, Barrett, O'Brien and Hennessy in that medium-small range gave Penguin a tremendous advantage.
How did they nullify then the expected ruck advantage of Ward, particularly of Smithton?
Well, Timmy Allen jumped hard into Neil Ward at every centre bounce, and Neil Ward's not a very physically strong player. He's very slightly built and he didn't really appreciate it. He also got a tremendous whack early in the game, quite accidental, and that left him a little stunned for perhaps 10 or 15 minutes of that first quarter.
Yeah, and now Chris Reynolds, the focal point in Penguin's attack at centre-half forward.
Well, he started at full forward. Michael Gale started at centre-half forward. Reynolds, however, plays a long way from goal. At times he was 70 and 80 metres from goal. In the first quarter, in the first 3 or 4 minutes, he took an enormous mark over a pack of players on the half-forward line. And that, Chris being the type of player that Chris is, it gave him tremendous lift in confidence. And he certainly marked everything. He contested very hard. And he was just too good for Marcus Simpson, both in the air and in the fact that he was too experienced. He also led to the ball and got the short chip pass, which meant that Simpson couldn't stand off him and get a run to punch the ball away.
It was also fairly noticeable too that he was very keen and contested every issue.
Well, it's the first grand final at NWFU grand final that Chris has contested, and I think he really wanted to show people that he could play under pressure.
OK, let's have a look now at some of the edited highlights from that first half, the grand final yesterday between Penguin and Smithton.
But it hits the
Brett McMullen cops one high and the free kick.
First use of the ball, he gets it over to Brett McMullen. McMullen dodges, turns, cops one far too high. And
Chris Reynolds marked spectacularly.
Peter French was well down the ground. Oh, the fly! What a superb mark, Chris Reynolds.
So too does Smithton leader Peter Ivanoff.
The ball now, centre half back. He'll drop punt the ball into the centre of the ground. Up go the big man. Oh, beautiful mark taken by Ivanoff. Did he stand his ground?
Judge.
Peter French marks in the square and goals.
Forward 15 metres out, screws it over his shoulder, and French is marked right on the line.
Thorpe hits the post for the Saints.
Pass goes out wide to Thorpe. Thorpe swings onto the left foot, the long kick towards goal. It's coming back, but he's offline and one behind only.
French scores another one for the 2 Blues.
He'll bang it in towards the Reynolds direction. Out goes Corpershot. Over the back towards Reynolds. Picked up on that occasion by French and number 2. And
Lavelle marks in the square and goals.
He's going to look for Reynolds. He's got the drop on them. Up they go, and it's a mark once again. Who is it in the forward line? Is it Robbie Lavelle?
Scott Knight marks for the Saints on the line and goals.
Towards goal is going to land. Scotty Knights has taken the mark. Ward's got the football. He sends it, Maguire's tripped. Doesn't get the free kick. Scotty Knights gets it back towards Berta Maguire. First kick in the game for the Berta, and he's put it straight through the middle. This allows Fielding in again. He sends it towards Wilcox, who almost takes the mark. Shane Nichols can't get the ball. Comes across to Viney. Viney runs into an open goal, and there's the first goal of the quarter.
Keddy puts the ball into play now up towards the far side. Up goes Tim Allen and pulls in a beautiful mark. He about to play on, but he's within kicking distance, and the Blues can't afford to throw this one away. In comes Tim Allen. He'll put it into the goal square. Out goes the big fella Reynolds. Up he goes, and he's pulled in a beautiful mark.
It goes over the pack's going to give Reynolds first run at the ball. He sidesteps nicely, then gets tackled. The ball comes out towards Robbie Lavelle. Robbie Lavelle's hooked towards goal. There's another one, and that's the 6th for the Blues. Comes down, Ivanoff's got the football. He sends the hand pass out towards Ralston. Ralston steadies, then drives the ball long. Maguire's going, but superb mark.
Michael Gale on the half-forward line. He lifts his head, can't pick it up, dummies around his opponent, looks for Reynolds, out he goes, up goes Reynolds. It's in front, and Reynolds takes the mark.
As we approach the time-on period of the second term, and the umpire puts the ball to ground. Ward's there, touched away by Carpenter. Here's Wilcox again at centre half forward. He goes long. The drop punt on its way. It's floating through. Another great goal kick by Wilcox. Taking it as Simpson. His high kick towards half forward. Players up high. Brilliant mark taken in defence by Mitchell. In he comes. Drop punt kick, and he's floated it right up towards full forward. Allen has the sit behind. Korpashock. Here's the chance for Gale. Can he recover? On the right foot, and he's slammed it home.
Well, Penguin went into the big-time break holding a 4-goal lead over Smithton in yesterday's grand final at West Park. Second half summary, Noel Johnson again.
After half-time, the Saints, in an attempt to get more mobility, had put Peter Koppershirk in the sin bin and brought Guy Gray onto the half-forward flank, and this move proved to be one of advantage because their key forwards, now with Knight at centre half forward, Maguire at full forward, and with Ward alternating in the ruck and the forward pocket. They ran these 3 players around, and that made their attack a little less predictable, and the Saints narrowed the gap. Lockett had been magnificent at half-back, and Ivanoff again in this quarter was at the bottom of every pack, feeding the ball to running players in Thorpe and McMullen, and for the first time in the game, Smithton appeared competitive and appeared to threaten the Blues. The game had lifted as a spectacle, and for a few moments late in this quarter, the Blues appeared to panic, and visions of the previous week must have been flashing through their minds. But again, Wilcox and Lavelle came to the rescue, and with a goal from Lavelle, they went to three-quarter time, 1 point in front. I thought Penguin, with the aid of a 4 or 5 goal breeze, should be able to win comfortably. However, the Saints had other ideas. Knight was marking everything at centre half forward, and with his penetrating kicking to Berta Maguire at full forward, the Saints went to a 10-point lead. And at the 10-minute mark of the last quarter, it appeared as though Smithton were going to run away with the game. Penguin then made some changes. Wilcox came out of the forward pocket and went back onto the ball. Barrett was moved onto Ivanoff, and Reynolds completely took over the forward line. Wilcox, Hennessy and O'Brien were winning the ball from the centre at will, and with Reynolds marking everything down in the forward line, he booted 5 goals in this quarter to completely annihilate young Simpson. The Blues stormed to an 8-goal victory. Smithton, who had battled hard all day without really functioning as a unit at any time, capitulated in the last 10 minutes when the game was lost. And in the circumstances, one can't be too critical of that aspect. To me, there were many factors that led to the Blues' victory. The conditions on the day certainly suited Penguin better than they did the high-marking Smithton side. Smithton only had 1 hard game in a month, and in my opinion, Penguin fielded the best side overall that they've been able to put together since 1977. The Saints were exposed in some major areas where they've had weaknesses. Other sides have known they've been there, but they've never been able to exploit them, in the fact that they do not have a true field rover, and to me, a lot of their smaller and flank players are just not as good as some of the other players in other sides on the coast. As a unit, Penguin were far more committed, and certainly I think that that Smithton suffered from the fact that they'd only had 2 games in 6 weeks.
The corridors of the ground at West Park have been expressed on a number of occasions, particularly by yourself, Noel. Was it the Penguin yesterday exploited them better, say, than Smithton?
Well, I thought that they were better disciplined than Smithton. Their use of the ball was better. The Smithton smaller players fumbled badly. They got the ball under tremendous pressure. They kicked under pressure, and this made it very awkward for Scott Knight and Berta Maguire because of the fashion in which the ball was coming down. Whereas on the other hand, Lavelle, Trevor Howard, Hennessy, O'Brien and Wilcox were always able to find space. And when they found space, they were able to steady and use the ball to penetrate deep into attack and give players such as Michael Gale and Reynolds the opportunity to contest the ball one out.
A little bit of an issue there. Tempers became a little bit frayed there in the last quarter, or in the third quarter, that is?
That was in the last quarter.
Yeah.
That was probably a turning point in the game. At that stage, Smithton was still in front, but one or two of the Penguin players became very fired up after that issue and went right on with the job.
It often happens that you find a team does lose its concentration sometimes when an issue like that does take place.
Yes, and I believe in the last quarter also, Ray, that a number of the Smithton players became very, very tired. I know you always look tired when you're behind and you're chasing, but to me it just showed that if you're assured of playing in the grand final, if you can get the extra games in and get through without any injuries, then you come up that little bit tougher, both mentally and physically, for a grand final game.
We've just seen a few incidents here on film there that whereas Penguin, whenever they gained possession of the ball, were often running at every opportunity, even after taking the mark, Smithton were adopting the mark and kick game, which slowed the pace of the game down.
Yes.
Would I be right in analysing it?
That's correct, Ray, and I think that only two or three perhaps, they relied just too much on Ivanov. At times yesterday, Ivanov was contesting with 3 and 4 Penguin players. Fringe players for Smithton were calling for the ball from him, but Peter just can't beat those numbers every time. Sure. And I thought personally that a number of the Smithton players, their frailer players, were compromised yesterday by the attitude of the Penguin players in running straight at the ball.
Well, full marks to Penguin. They must have been ably led by Tim Allen, as we saw a few times there. He contested every issue, took some high marks and really led the players well on the ground. Yeah,
he's a tremendous competitor, Timmy Allen. I thought Ward beat him on the day, but Tim runs very hard at the ball. He's certainly the type of leader that gives his all.
There were a couple of players, one particular there that you mentioned whilst we were off camera, and one which we saw last week against Wynyard in the preliminary final, Viney and Mitchell. These are two newcomers, two new names we've got to the Penguin lineup.
Well, I put Mitchell in my best players yesterday, Ray. He played an exceptional game in the back pocket. He was aggressive, he was skillful, and he's such a rangy player that he was able to get across and help out Bruce Howard on occasions when Maguire was taking some big marks. But the other bloke, young Viney, played well early, went out of the game, and in fact they interchanged him with Porky Brown in the third quarter. But he's a player with a great future.
Isn't it surprising that the big money clubs up there this year have fallen by the wayside to a team basically of local composition?
Yes. Penguin have been very fortunate. They've always been billed as the underdogs. When I was coaching, and I believe this year, that they've got some tremendous players. Yeah. And they've just been very fortunate that those players have been very loyal to the club.
What's the future for the club now? It's a relatively young side with plenty of experience.
It's a bit hard to judge. There'll be some players that may be contemplating their future. I think Bruce and Trevor Howard have indicated that they'll be thinking seriously of retiring. Perhaps it'd be a good note to go out on. Players who are getting up a bit in years, like Dale Ansell and those sort of players.
Bill Fielding?
I reckon Billy Fielding would be good for another couple of years.
Sure.
Yes.
And Smithton?
Well, with Berta Maguire perhaps at a stage where he'd be looking at what his future may be.
He played well yesterday, a game with 7.
He did, yes. He took some great marks. But these players can't go on forever. What Smithton need, I think Chris Hoffing was at the game yesterday.
Yes.
And they certainly need players of his ability back in their team if they're going to match other sides in the ground area.
OK. Run through your better players now, Noel.
Well, it was very difficult to pick better players, Ray.
First of all, your goal kickers.
Well, they're quite easy with Berta Maguire beating 7 in a tremendous exhibition at full forward for Smith. And he also had a run on the ball in the third quarter, so that makes his effort even better. Rodney Medwin, a fierce competitor, he kicked 2 goals. The other end of the ground, Chris Reynolds booted 8, Wilcox 4 and Lavelle 3, and I think that in itself is a story with those 2 players booting 7 goals as well as being very dominant around the ground. Better players for Smith and Johnny Coppershirk. As I said, I've never been a great admirer of John because of his lack of pace, but he was magnificent yesterday. Peter Ivanov, knocked down more times than a boxer. Ward, Scotty Knight, Maguire, Lockett and Medwin. And for Penguin, Wilcox superb all day. Reynolds, Lavelle, Hennessy, Allen, Barrett and Trevor Howard.
Could I ask you one question, and this is on the record now on camera, the future of Peter Ivanoff at Smithton?
Well, you've really put me on the spot, Ray, haven't you?
But rumours are rumours. There were plenty of rumours going around Launceston this week.
If some of those rumours are true, then I believe another club at the other end of the coast may be pursuing Peter Ivanoff fairly vigorously over the next 2 weeks.
I thought there might be. Black and white colours, I understand. You're not prepared to admit it?
Not prepared to say anything further, right?
OK, then thank you.
If I could just sum up, Ray, we usually give 3, 2 and 1 by just making a couple of comments. For my best player for the day, there was no doubt in my mind it was Stephen Wilcox. Usually he plays in the forward pocket, but yesterday he spent about 70% of his time on the ball, and I think that was one of the real factors in the win. For a highlight of the day, Chris Reynolds was marked in the first few minutes, and for the Courage Award for a bloke who just kept buttering up. He probably never performed as well as he has done in other games during the year, but Peter Ivanoff.
Well, maybe the turf at Devonport might be a little bit softer, Peter. It's very well cared for out there at Devonport, rather than the grand final turf at West Park. OK, to take us out of our NWFU grand final summing up, let's have a look now at some of the edited highlights from the grand final second half.
Towards centre half forward, looking for Reynolds. Up goes the big fella Carpenter. He grabs it, picked up by French. He bangs it in towards the goal square. Up go the big men. Reynolds is up and he's marked it. A magnificent mark from the big fellow Chris Reynolds. Porky Brown in front of the pack, Billing from behind. Billing breaks one tackle, gets the hand pass, it's a good one too. Smithton now to go forward, looking for Maguire, and a big full forward has dragged it in on the half-forward line. As the ball kicked out wide, looking for Howard, he's going to be met head-on, but a courageous mark by Howard. He tries to break away, passes towards Gale, he sets himself. Reynolds is there, roves the pack, drop punt on its way, and he's threaded it through. A goal to Reynolds, and Penguin go further in front.
Maguire. Certainly one of Smithton's keys. That's a magnificent kick. The goal umpire makes position, and he's about to raise both fingers. He does. To Billing. Billing is Todges, turns, then gets it to Ivanoff in the centre, who I'm certain's carrying an ankle. He goes long down, and the mark's taken by Ward. Ward kicks. It's straight through the middle.
Penguin 70 leading Smithton 63 as the throw-in takes place. Korpashok takes the ball out of the air. Smithton now starting to run with the ball, looking for Medwin, and he's marked at centre half forward. Rodney Medwin has the player short in Nichols. The beautiful pass finds Nichols, and he's only 40 metres out from goal. Can he put Smithton closer? Only trailing by 1 point. He's done it. A drop punt kick on its way. There's only 1 point the difference. Carpenter's there, gets the hand pass towards Hennessy. Hennessy doesn't know which way to go. He uses plenty of time, and he swings onto the left foot, and he drives towards Reynolds at centre half forward. Simpson in front, pushes the ball along in front of him. O'Brien breaks through brilliantly, gets the hand pass towards the match winner Lavelle. The drop punt kick on its way. It looks good. It is. And Penguin are now 7 points in front.
But got John Korpashok caught high, and plays on, calls the umpire, arguably for me the best player on the ground. He sends the ball on a mark taken by Scotty Knights. Well, Penguins stopped as if shot last week. I don't think they'll do the same this week as Knights gets it out. Maguire!
Picking it up as Ralston now. He goes out wide looking for Medwin. Medwin fumbles on centre wing, but he finally gathers the ball. Goes forward looking for Maguire. Maguire and Howard. Maguire! Too strong and too tall, and he's marked.
Picked up there by Wilcox. A good hand pass out towards Gale. He bounces it once. He comes with a left foot. A superb kick to Reynolds, and Reynolds doesn't let him down. Goes in towards Barrett, who set them alight this quarter. Comes to Tim Allen. Tim Allen's kicked down towards Reynolds, and Reynolds takes the mark.
Hennessy has a break now. He sees Fielding, but he swings onto the left foot, goes in short, looking for Wilcox. He breaks away. This will be the sealer. The drop punt. He's kicked it home, and the grand final's in the bag now for Penguin. Wilcox gets the ball in the centre of the ground again, and the experienced Rover drives it forward. Howard and Reynolds. Reynolds has taken a screamer at full forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, the club, to celebrate the 1985 Premiership, have had printed some very special memento pennants containing the names of the team, the committee, the patrons, the club doctor, the trainers, the ladies committee, the Queen, etc., etc. It's a great keepsake, something that you can hang with pride in any place of honour in your house. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, one of these will be going to
to each grand final participant, whether they be a footballer, a patron, committee man, trainer, etc., etc. But if anybody else, if any of the club supporters would like one of these as a keepsake, please get in early. There'll only be a few left, and they are $5 a piece. Now, if you see Mr. Anderson, Lyle, I'll read it to you after me, boy. Yes? Lyle, you've got wonderful value for $5. Normally $4.99, Lyle, but for you, $5. Ladies and gentlemen, there we are. Outstanding value. Let's not pass up the opportunity of a lifetime. Don't forget the Blues are alive in '85. You'll have one. Would you see the club treasurer and chief director, Mr. Anderson? Mr. Wilcox would like one of those. Ladies and gentlemen, a most important part of the evening, if we can have your undivided attention, thank you very much, is for me once again to introduce the coach of the 1985 season and the newly appointed coach of the 1986 season, Mr. Tim Allen. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Allen.
Thank you very much, mate. Just before we do finish, the last thing I want to do is bore you to tears. I'm sure you want to get on and enjoy yourselves this evening. But there is a few people that I'd like to thank for the 1985 season. And I'd like to go back from the start, when I was approached by the Penguin Football Club and accepted and moved to Penguin. And that's virtually where it all started. I was out of work at that time, and to my delight, I was given employment by a man who I admire and I look up to, and I know that he's got the Penguin Football Club at heart, and whenever he can, he puts his front foot forward and gives it to the Penguin Football Club, and that's Mr. Ron G. Ron, thanks very much for giving me the opportunity and getting me involved in the Penguin municipality, as Joe often mentions, and that's where it all started from. From there, we started football, and to Joe and his committee, this year it's been, absolutely tremendous. The support they've given me, they've got behind me, they've given us support, and we finally got through and won a grand final. So for your support, I thank you very much. To the Women's Committee, virtually the same. I know there's quite a few occasions that I made it quite hard for you, especially coming into finals, when we were under a little bit of pressure and we mixed up a couple of dates and that type of thing, when there was players' tees on and no players there and so on and so forth. You took it on the chin and you were always there when we did need you. So for that and your understanding of football, thanks very much. To our trainers, for the way that you helped keeping the players on the ground, for your time that you spent, never a harsh word was spoken by any of the trainers. They were always prepared to do their best. If there was anything asked of me, they were only too glad to do it. And they did, and for that, and the time that you put in on the ground, the training and so on and so forth, thanks very much, each and every one of you. To the Doc, you're a funny little fella. But I must admit, Izzy, I admire you for the way and also the time that you dedicated to the Penguin Football Club. And it wasn't very hard to take your advice, because I appreciated the position you're in. You're a man of a profession that not very many of us can get there. And that is why that I was prepared to listen to you and take your advice, and especially a person in your position where time is so valuable to you, that you were prepared to come down and put it into the Penguin Football Club. I appreciated it, the players appreciated it, and the rest of the To my runner, Sam. Who had to put up with a lot throughout the year. I must admit, I probably wasn't the easiest playing coach to be a runner to. quite a few times I'm sure that I did get under Sam's skin. But that is the main reason that there is no way known that I'd have anyone else but Sam, because of his understanding with football, his knowledge of football, the areas that he helped us in. And I'm not only talking about myself, but also Colin. We appreciate it. A lot of people don't realise, I don't think, the ideas and what Sam comes up with as far as football goes. It wasn't just the running part of it, which I thought he did a tremendous job, and he helped in a big way in winning us a grand final. But his advice along the way, his encouragement, his understanding of players, to me, coming in as a new face in the club, was unbeatable, Sam. And for your support and your help, mate, I thank you very much. To the players, very up and down season. We've won 11 games and lost 7 throughout the roster matches, and there wasn't very many people, except probably a lot of you folks sitting around here tonight, that gave us a hope in hell of winning the grand final when we come up against Smithton. But on the day when we got there in the rooms and we started our build up towards that grand final, I don't think there was a player that doubted. Every one of them had got to the stage where they were going to give their best, go out there and do it, and nothing else but a win was going to be good enough. And that's exactly what every one of them did. I was a very, very proud man to coach every player that took that field that day, and also a couple of the players that did miss out. For your support, for the effort that you put in, for the way that you did listen to what I said, even though sometimes it might have been wrong and sometimes it might have been right, at least we learned, and I'm talking about both parties along the way. You learned and I learned, but we did get there, we won a grand final, and for that I thank you very much, each and every one of you. And last but not least, I come to a man who I admire and helped me so much throughout this football season. And it's not a very easy thing to be a playing coach, because there is a lot of pressure on you out there on the ground as far as performing, because if you don't perform and you don't get your kicks, you get your kicks in the bum. If you don't make the right moves and you make mistakes, you get kicks in the bum. So you've got to have a person sitting on the bench that you can rely on, that you've got confidence in, that you know that will make the right decisions without every time the runner coming to me. And that was none other than Colin Crowden. Colin, I don't have to say too much to you, because you know my feeling, the way you helped me this year. You were an inspiration, you were a breath of fresh air. Every time things looked down, you were the person that brought me back up again. You helped me when the pressure was on, you got me back up there again. You were the one that kept everyone going. You took a lot of pressure off me, and you took a lot of knocks that you should not have got. I appreciate that, mate. I know what happened, and thanks very much.
For 1985, donated by a man you've heard of before somewhere around the traps, Mr. Tommy Kane. It goes to Mr. Chris Reynolds. If you would, crowd, champion goalkeeper, Chris Reynolds. Any footballer in any competition, the most dedicated. Donated by Elvin and Ken Jupp, Mr. Kerry Stubbs. Apparently Kerry is best. Penguin Penguin Football Club 1985, the most constructive. And how well worded this particular trophy is, the most constructive. Donated by the Corbett family from Ulverston. What wonderful supporters. A big hand for the Corbett family to start with. I fancy I've heard the name somewhere, but thank you very much for your wonderful support to a wonderful club.
No relation to you, does it?
The winner, ladies and gentlemen, constructive. It can only mean Stephen Wilcox. Stephen Wilcox, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is the only person in Australia that the Richmond Football Club haven't appointed coach and then sacked.
Well done, mate.
Most promising in the senior lineup for 1985, donated by former Secretary Michael Sage, and thank you for your continued support of the club, Mike. Been won by Michael Gale. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all wish Michael the very best in his VFL career with Fitzroy next year. Congratulations, Michael. Here's a man that never gives in. The hardest trier trophy, donated by Dale and Beth Fielding from South Rayner. Nevy Keith. Oh, he's another St Kilda man. It takes him a little while to get there. Oh, all right, yeah. I think he does want it, actually. Yeah.
Well done, Neville. Congratulations, mate.
Congratulations, Nevy Keith. A big round of applause. Good on you, Nevy. The trophy that's presented every year it's presented for outstanding service, and in my opinion it's presented by outstanding supporters in Mrs. Madge and Mr. Roy Bonney. Roy tonight unfortunately isn't the best health-wise. He can't be with us, sends his apologies, but he wouldn't let Madge stay home and nurse him. He said, get yourself down to the footy club annual dinner. He said, that's where I'd like to be, and he said, that's where my thoughts are tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me the greatest pleasure to show you this magnificent trophy that the Bonnies have once again provided for outstanding service. Goes to the little Biafran chappie, Robbie Laville. I'll just give that to Tim to pass on, Mrs. Bonney, and thank you once again.
Well done, Rob.
Good on you, Rob. Good on you, mate. Good on you, Rob. Look at the exercise this fella's getting. The runner-up, best and fairest, donated by Audrey and Lyle Wilcox, Robbie Lavelle. We deliberately waited until you got back to your seat. We wanted to see whether or not you could move as quick as Kevin Bartlett. Good on you, mate. Thank you very much. Another big round of applause for a very game football. Right, will you get that off? We'll have a look at this one. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Bonnies are in the news, and those of you who have joined us over the years at the presentation of the awards night at the Penguin Football Club have noted in silence and with honour that the Bonnies present this trophy in memory of their late son Brian. It's been won by some very good footballers, and this year is no exception. I have much pleasure on behalf of the Bonnie family, Mrs. Bonnie and Roy, in presenting this trophy to Bruce Howard. Bruce, of course, is one of the 24-year-old twin sons of Earl and Mrs. Howard. Thanks. Thanks very much, Bruce. Thank you very much to Bruce, and once again thank you, Madge and Roy. Here's one that was well deserved. Oh, look at this. The best in the finals, donated by the Penguin Footy Club. Billy Fielding. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a big round of applause as he accepts the trophy. The very spirit of the Penguin Football Club itself, Mr. Bill Fielding. Ladies and gentlemen, as from this moment, tea and coffee is served underneath the notice board, so if anybody would like a little something to sober up on, or perhaps something to warm up on, tea and coffee over there underneath the notice board, and thank you very much. The runner-up best in the finals series, it was a very close vote. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, donated by the Penguin Football Club, Bruce Howard. We're going to ask you to come up again, Bruce. And another round of applause for a man who helped the Penguin Football Club win the grand final. Ladies and gentlemen, if ever a trophy went to the most unlucky footballer, then surely this must be it. It's a trophy awarded to the most courageous in the seniors. A man, look, if this fella hadn't have played that particular day, goodness knows what would have happened. Donated by Morris and Alma Carpenter. A man who must have been most disappointed to miss out on the actual side in the grand final, but nevertheless is regarded by all and sundry as a member of the Penguin Football Club Premiership side in 1985. I give you Darryl Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, in my entire connection with the Penguin Football Club, I don't think ever a trophy was more deserved than the trophy for that man. I think we can go one more round. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to hand over to the President of the Penguin Football Club, Mr. Vic Anderson, to present the best and fairest trophy. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Victor Anderson.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of A.V. Jennings, that you all know has been the sponsor of the Penguin Football Club for the last 2 or 3 years, and hopefully that they will stand by us again in next year to come. But with this trophy, it goes the best wishes of everybody in this municipality to Chris Reynolds. On behalf of A.V. Jennings again, and all the people in the Penguin Football Municipality, I congratulate you on winning the best and fairest. We set her up this year that she had to be like the league, and you didn't know till the last vote. And I know Chris had a big red jumper all the year to take the sweat, but he never had it on the best and fairest day count to take the sweat that he went through. And then congratulations, Chris, on behalf of everybody else around, and it was a very well deserved win. Thanks very much for what you did.
Thanks very much, Joe, for those kind words. I'd like to thank everyone involved with the Penguin Football Club for giving me a chance, especially to prove myself, and I'm just glad that we won the premiership and everything come true for everybody. Thank you.
Tonight a very special guest from all over that way somewhere. A little sunburned chappie who's been rather synonymous with the Penguin Football Club for at least 10 or 11 years. He's requested that small artefact be placed on the table for his little demonstration. I don't know how much this consultation is going to cost the club. It's after hours and all that sort of thing, but that particular football that we're looking at was the one that was handled by the players during the final series for their pre-game warm-up. That's got it. We ask you, sir, to leave it with us. Please try not to take it with you. It has great sentimental value for the players and the supporters of the Penguin Football Club. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Mohammed Ismail.
Thank you very much for those kind words, Mr. Compere. And I thank you all most generously for that very good applause. And I would like to hear it once again, please. Thank you very much. Over these last few years, I've seen quite a few sporting problems and a few non-medical ones. And this year, our most deserved premiership year is no exception to it. And by the time I have finished giving you a few examples, I'm sure you all will agree that they can be very strange, the bizarre, the unexpected, and for you all to believe it or not. Firstly, take for example Stephen Wilcox. Could I have you standing for a minute, please, Stephen? Thank you. The player of the grand final. You all know very well the present state of his head and the present state of his concussion. He is so prone to concussion that even the cool breeze that blows across through one of his ears and out of the other gives him concussion. Stephen, for another minute, please. He now wears a headgear. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a headgear, it's earmuffs. Thank you, Stephen. Next, take Garth Barrett. turn, Garth, please. Every time he gets this football in his hands, everyone in the grandstand shout, "Kick it!" Kick that bloody ball, Garth! But what does he do? He never obliges. One day he came to see me. Apparently, every time he gets this ball in his hands, he gets a great spasm, which makes him run and run and run. And that's why he can't kick that ball. Standing down, please. Garth is now under special relaxing exercises, a few push downs and not push-ups, responding slowly, and next year you will see a much quicker boot to ball. Thank you, Garth. Next, you have Bustling Bill, the ball buster. Standing, please, Bill. Who knows only one thing on the ground, go through the packs like a bulldozer, and kick that ball a mile, even though it is straight down the opposition's throat. One day, Bill was fortunate enough to split his head open, which needed a few stitches. While I was getting ready to do the job, Bill's eagerness to get back was so great that he took over and started patching himself, like patching and closing a bag of spuds. A few days later, when it was time for the stitches to be removed, I get a call from his beautiful wife, Joanne, on behalf of Bill, wanting to know which end to start from. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our Billy Fielding. How about one of our most promising young players, Michael Gale? Your turn, Michael. Off to the mainland next season, I hear. Michael saw me on a few occasions, and each time he got a knock below the belt, he ended up with tonsillitis. So strange and so puzzling, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently one of the criteria, standing please, apparently one of the criteria of joining the VFL is to undergo a transplant, on the theory that it is quicker to recover from tonsillitis than from knocks elsewhere. Michael, I'm sure everyone here tonight join me in wishing you the very best in your footy career. Don't forget our Penguin Football Club, small in size, but damn big in heart. Before the start of the season, I was told that we were going to get a real exciting recruit. I met Chris Reynolds. Standing please, Chris. I shook his hand and I still regret it. But I didn't know what was so exciting about the man at that time. Later on, I had to conduct a detailed medical examination on Chris, at the end of which I found him to be very exciting, all right. If you are one of those. No hard feelings, Dick. It's been a great pleasure to have known you, even though you are a pain in the Tuesday evening and Saturday mornings. I look forward to getting to know you better next year. Finally, one can't go past our successful coach, Tim Allen. Your turn, Tim. Thank you. His would be the most advanced cases of mental confusion I've ever seen. Before the game, he tells his battalion, you play forward, you play back, you right wing, and you play left. Soon after the first bounce, what does Tim do? He calls out to Sam, waving his hands as though he's having an epileptic fit, and reverses the whole procedure. Attackers become defenders, fullbacks become full forwards, right become left, and so on. But among all this confusion, ladies and gentlemen, it has brought us great pride and joy and a grand final success, which we are celebrating tonight. Great leadership, Tim. Congratulations, and best of luck next year, too. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, did you all know that we have some of the best heavyweights of union football? Like Joe, our president, Keith, our secretary, Don Gale with his knowledge behind the bench, Brian Mitchell with his stopwatch, Brian Jones, our trainer, Les Howard at the gate, and so on. Keep the weight going, gentlemen. Our club needs every ounce you have got to spare. One can go on and talk about, for example, the Howard brothers, the French brothers, Chris Hennessy, Robbie Level, or the famous karate chop of Lee Bonnie. But it has to end somewhere, and this is where I end. I thank you all very much for listening and look forward to being associated with this great club next year. Thank you.
For a short spell, I have two announcements to make tonight, which is very important. Number one, Tim Allen has been reappointed by the committee for the 1986. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim is coming to the microphone now, and congratulations, Tim, on your appointment. And we will be behind you the same as we was this year. And Tim knows what back-to-back premierships are all about. We don't. We're about to find out, because we've got to stay with Tim, stick behind him. Everybody's got to get together, and we've got to win it. So there's no saying if, it's there for us, and we've got to take it. Congratulations once again, Tim. Thanks. Thanks very much, Joe. It's a little bit earlier than expected this, actually, but I'd just like to congratulate everyone that's been involved with the Penguin Football Club in the 1985 season. While it's been a success, it's also had its problems in as far as our under-19s and our reserves, which is areas that we've got to work in, because that's what where the Penguin Football Club's future lies. And it's very easy now for the Penguin Football Club, or I should say there's two directions that the Penguin Football Club can go in. You can either sit back and live in the glory of the 1985 Grand Final, or they can go on and meet the challenge of the 1986 that is coming on. And believe you me, it's not that far away. And it doesn't only take a coach and his players to go out there and do the work, but it takes the support of each and every one of you people sitting around here tonight to get behind the club and to give your best. And if you've got a couple of hours to spare, to get in and give this club a hand, because there was too many times throughout this year that there was too much work left up to too few people to do. And I sat down with the committee last night and had a really good talk about next year, and there was a lot of facts that were brought to the table that a lot of you people sitting out there tonight wouldn't realise. And you know, it's one of those things is when a president of a football club has to stand on a gate every weekend and take tickets as people come in the gate, it's just not good enough. And surely each and every one of us if we've got the Penguin Football Club at heart, can spare an hour or two every weekend, every second weekend, every third weekend, whatever the case may be. It's all for the benefit of the Penguin Football Club. And that's exactly what we need. It's more support, it's more backing. And I know since I come into the club as a stranger that I was welcomed, I was made to feel at home, not only myself but my wife and my family, and we really appreciated it. And it is a tremendous club. As we said last night, and it was brought up to me, it's a working men's club. It's not up in the air, it's not, you know, how do you do or anything like that. It's down to earth. People talk to one another, they get down and do the stuff that is required to win grand finals. But I'd also like to remind each and every one of you, while you might be sitting here tonight, that it was hard this year to win a grand final, but once you're at the top it takes a hell of a lot more hard work to stay up there. And while you may be thinking that the Penguin Football Club deserves to be there and to stay on top, there's 8 other clubs in this competition that are thinking exactly the same way. So it's up to each and every one of us that if you've got this Penguin Football Club at heart, that we've got to reach a little bit deeper, we've got to try a little bit harder to make sure that we are going to be there next year. And I'm asking each and every one of you people, whether you be a player, a supporter, a committee man, whatever the case may be, that we have got to meet that challenge, we've got to try that little bit harder, we've got to stick together, we've got to come through it, and we've got to meet that challenge and make sure we're here again next year. Thanks very much.
We might call a short break. The Michigan's actually the way they were swinging Derrity at all times. And it goes to the king of the divots, one Mr. Porcus Brown. There you are, sir. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Don't forget to cut the grass. We've had a fair bit to put up with, not because he's had the pig's ear on, but because he has been an ear basher of the highest quality. By unanimous choice, the ear basher of the club 1985, Terence Cullen. Come on, maybe you. Ladies and gentlemen, I suppose one could say that here we have Terry. Over this trip, that many light-hearted moments were shared. And some of the menfolk did experience a little bit of trouble being away from mother for so long. So we're giving this beautiful little thing, and it's built much the same, to one of those who missed mother more than anybody else did. Dorrie Turnbull. Where are you?
If she comes along, I'll pick her up and she'll have a talk to you, because a lot of things she's got earways in. Thank you, darling.
Of little things we'd like to give to this particular chappie. And I read in the form of certain licenses, license to shoot fallow deer in reserves. Hello, Henry. License to take brush possum at leisure. License to take whitebait in season or not. License to shoot wild duck at South Rayana or any other place. License to shoot rabbits on the Bass Highway between over there and here. and licensed to dynamite trout during the spawning run. It can go to no other than Chris Reynolds. You're now fully licensed, Chris, and before we go, we had tonight a visit from the inland fisheries in the form of one bailiff, Mr. Brian Vanderveen, and he left this for you, and he asked, please, would you open that before the entire company tonight? Would you open that for us? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Poacher Reynolds. And if you could read the inscription.
All the best, Chris, from Brian Vanderveen, care of Inland Fisheries Commission.
Right now, inside there, sir, down in there somewhere, you'll find a handy little implement.
Oh, just what I need.
There we are. Thank you very much, Chris. I wonder what on earth the man's going to do with it. And in my rather deep pocket I have found a little something which should have been presented earlier to a certain chap. As you would be aware, on Saturday night at the celebrations, and indeed all day Sunday and all day Monday and all day every other day that he could get his hands on it, one Chris Hennessy went around with that cup. You can still see the fingerprints on the handle if you look closely. And so A.G. Stokes and Company Limited of Melbourne have struck a special memento. Where are you, Jerry? We have a replica for you of the 1985 Premiership Cup. We know that it does give you very special pleasure, as it does indeed all of us. And let me tell you, as you're a good Carlton supporter, sir, that today Carlton signed Stephen Kernahan for 3 years on contract. Congratulations. I had to fit that in, Bart. 3 years. Gentlemen, we do find in our on our trophy table over there a couple of more rather classy trophies. You'll see that's a very strange trophy to be giving at a football dinner. But we read the inscription, Penguin Football Club Golf Day, 1985. Nearest the pin. I'll bet you can't guess. You did guess. Tony King, 26 feet 6 inches. I don't know whether that's... I don't know exactly what that's the measurement of. Donated by our good friend Mr. Wayne Manson of Northern Trophies, etc. Where are you, Tony? Okay, right, we'll pass that on to Tony. And last but not least, we do have a rather imposing parcel sitting on the table. It's starting to tick. I don't like the sound of it. But it is called, quite simply, be careful, Keith, the Neptune Award. It is awarded for the greatest drunk during the Premiership celebration. Now, there were several nominations, and they were indeed a fine ilk. I like that word, Bart, ilk, I-L-K, magnificent. No, it doesn't rhyme with spaghetti at all. Nominations, Mr. Garth Barrett, Mr. Kevin Brown, Mr. Billy Fielding, Mr. Wayne Lee, and Mr. Gary Carpenter. They finished up the final 5. Now, to separate those, there wasn't any more than half a glass or so in it. The chief judge was Mr. Phil G.